As the world mourns Pope Francis, history's most secretive transfer of power begins. White smoke, the path to a new pope, guides you through this momentous transition. We explain exactly what happens next, leading to the dramatic conclave vote. Learn how each ritual unfolds, what each tradition means, and why these ancient ceremonies still matter today. Follow along as the throne of St. Peter stands empty and a new chapter in church history begins. White Smoke, available wherever you get your podcasts.
Do you know what a group of flamingos is called? That's just one of thousands of facts you'll discover on 5 daily trivia questions. Hi, I'm Mark Ellison. Join me every weekday for 5 mind-expanding questions about everything from ancient history to modern technology. Perfect for impressing friends or dominating your next pub quiz. 5 daily trivia questions. And the answer, a group of flamingos, is called a flamboyance. 5 daily trivia questions.
Calaroga Shark Media.
Oh no, parents, you've been here. You're going to know this feeling in the pit in your stomach. Hi, I'm Johnny Mac with 5 good news stories. A 4-year-old boy accidentally smashed a 3,500-year-old jar. His family was touring a museum in Israel. The boy came across crockery that dates back to the Bronze Age, roughly 2200 to 1500 BC. The father said his son pulled the jar slightly because he was curious about what was inside. You know what happened next. A smash, Dad told the BBC. I was in shock. His first thought was, it wasn't my child that did it. Oh, yes, it was, Dad. The museum said it wasn't behind glass or anything because they believe people should enjoy historic items without obstructions. The museum was cool about it, though. They said, in this case, the jar was accidentally damaged by a young child visiting the museum. The museum believes the jar could be restored and returned to be displayed once again to show there's no hard feelings. The museum invited the child and family back for an organized tour. Keep your hands in your pockets, son. All right, good job by Coach Ryan. He may have broken a Guinness World Record by shooting 1,134 three-pointers in 1 hour. The previous record of 1,077 was set in 2012. Coach Martin said, it's really just taking one shot at a time and having confidence in yourself and knowing that you're prepared to do it. He's waiting back to hear from Guinness to see if he officially took the title. In South Africa, the last elephant in South Africa's National Zoo was released back into the wild after 40 years in captivity. The elephant was captured in 1984 when Charlie the elephant was just 2 years old. He was taken to a circus in South Africa and trained to perform tricks until the early 2000s. Then he wound up in the zoo. Out of concern for his health, and animal welfare groups have been advocating for his release back into the wild. He was released at the Shambhala Private Reserve in South Africa. The reserve is famous for reintegrating animals back into the wild and has a thriving population of elephants. Charlie is already showing signs of a successful release. Do you like snakes? Indiana Jones might want to become friends with Thomas. Thomas drives the middle of the night through the Everglades because when the dew point drops, it's time for pythons. Thomas says, I catch more pythons when that happens. It'll make things start moving. He's a contractor with the Florida Fish and Wildlife Conservation Commission. He has hunted Burmese pythons in the Everglades for 11 years. He participates in the Florida Python Challenge, which is hosted by the Wildlife Commission to incentivize people to track down these invasive Burmese pythons that thrive in the wetlands. The pythons are notoriously hard to spot in the wild. Each female can lay 29 to 50 eggs on average. Their impact has been devastating. In one study from 2012, the United States Geological Survey found that populations of raccoons had declined by 99.3%, opossums down 98.9%, and bobcats down 87.5% since the early 2000s. That's why they're hunting the snakes. More than 600 hunters participated in this year's Python Challenge. Grand prize winner, who humanely kills the most snakes, receives $10,000. There are contractors. They get $13 an hour while driving the back roads, $18 an hour if they walk into the swamp, no thank you. And you get paid per snake, $50 for the first 4 feet in length, plus $25 per subsequent foot. Thomas says, you're not going to make a living doing this full-time. There's no way you could do it. Somebody run the math on that. Florida prohibits hunters from using firearms to kill pythons. And pythons are not venomous, so capturing them is a hands-on experience. Tom Rahill is a fellow contractor. Says there's an art to catching a snake. Instead of jumping on the snake, you just kind of gently get up to it and just pick it up. Then you can stroke their belly scales. You can just pick up a wild python and do this. Thomas described a time he caught a 17-foot python. All right, let's do the math there, right? 17 feet, $50 for the first 4 feet, $25 for each subsequent foot. So that's 13 times 25. What's that? 250. That's $300-something dollars, and then $50, like a $400 snake. Your math may vary. When he caught the 17-foot python, he and his wife had to dance around the snake before he could wrangle the animal and control its head to keep the predator from lunging at them. Even then, a hunter needs a helper to keep the snake uncoiled until it calms down and can be double-bagged to prevent escape. Once the snakes are caught, the hunters have 24 hours to deliver them to the wildlife agency. It's illegal for any person other than a licensed contractor to transport a live invasive snake. White smoke. The path to a new pope explores humanity's most elaborate and secretive transfer of power, a process now unfolding following the death of Pope Francis. This series reveals the hidden rituals, ancient traditions, and behind-the-scenes drama of papal transition. As the Catholic world enters this solemn period of mourning and anticipation, join us in witnessing how the Church has perfected this sacred process over 2,000 years, and what happens in these crucial days when the throne of St. Peter stands empty. White Smoke brings listeners inside the conclave that will determine who will succeed Pope Francis and lead the Church into its next chapter. White Smoke, wherever you get your podcasts.
You can get this podcast completely ad-free right now. If you're on Apple, just click the banner that says Uninterrupted Listening, and you'll get your first month free. If you use Spotify or other podcast players, go to calaroga.com/plus. It's just $5 a month, and you'll get access to over 20 premium shows with no interruptions. Binge listen to new series like the political thriller Acting President, Signal Lost, where military secrets land on the wrong phone, and Pager Protocol, the thriller about exploding pagers in the wrong hands. Plus, enjoy daily shows like Palace Intrigue about the royal family, daily comedy news, and 5 daily trivia questions to test your knowledge, and White Smoke, taking you behind the scenes at what's happening right now at the Vatican. You also get all our hot shows like 5 good news stories. Enjoy your favorite content without any ad breaks. Remember, Apple users click the uninterrupted listening banner for your free first month, and everyone else head to calaroga.com/plus. Get ad-free listening today.
Well, try explaining this one to your boss. Why were you late? Well, you see, in LA here, the highway was backed up because a semi-truck covered the roadway in boxes of French fries. The California Highway Patrol said the French fry truck crashed about 3:20 in the morning on the southbound 5 and spread dozens of boxes of fries across the roadway. Traffic was backed up for several miles during the morning commute, while crews worked to clear the freeway of fries. 2 lanes of traffic were reopened by 11:15. No injuries were reported. And those are your 5 good news stories for today. If you would like this program without commercials, there's a link in the show notes to tell you how to do that. Maybe a friend of yours would enjoy this program. You could share with them. I'd really appreciate that. It helps grow the show. And please check out our sister show, 5 Minutes of Gratitude. 5 minutes, 3 days a week. Give you something to think about, clear your brain a little bit, and give you a daily affirmation. All right, you have a great day.